Hi, Scott from Digital Fish with a how-to on catching kingfish around channel marker buoys and other similar structures. Kingfish like to hang around or frequent structures that have depth and current. Targeting these structures with heavy tackle is an easy way to hook up. Dead fish, live bait, stick baits and jigs can all work. You can encounter schools of fish and it's an amazing sight to see a bunch of kings swarm your bait. You may have to try and lead bigger fish away from the marker buoy so they don't escape by wrapping the line around it. Make sure your drag is tight and you are ready to fight before you start casting your line. I find dead piper to be a particularly effective bait when retrieved across a marker buoy on a stick bait setup with 50-pound braid, an 80-pound leader and a 7-baro live bait hook. Sometimes the hardest part is catching the piper. I find size 12 trout hooks on 3 kilo mono under a float a very effective way to catch piper, and kingfish love them. The best times to target marker buoys is at the change of the tide when the current has subsided and the kingfish are more likely to rise and inspect any disturbances on the water. If you can keep the piper alive, it will be almost impossible for them to resist your offering. I like to approach a marker buoy and stop when it's just within casting distance. Too close and you can sometimes scare them or they get suspicious and don't bite. Try casting to both sides of the marker buoy if you don't get any follows on one side. Use Polaroid sunglasses so you have a good chance of seeing the fish before it smashes your bait, and if it is a small fish or a fish you're going to release, don't give it too much time to swallow the hook. On my baits, I like to put the hook through the top of the head and then hook it in the back with the point and barb facing up. Casting just in front of the marker, sometimes a bait skipped on the surface will get them chasing. Sometimes if the current is strong, they will be deeper and you have to let the bait sink for a few seconds before retrieving it to the surface. Watch carefully because the strike can come very quickly and you don't want to give the fish a chance to get around the marker buoy. You'll find most of the fish are under the 75cm legal limit, but bigger fish do hang around and the bigger fish can be deeper than the smaller ones. When fishing places that have medium current, you may not need to wait until slack tide. However, some harbour markers have very strong current and slack tide is the only time to target them. Accurate casting can be very important. You want to time it so the bait or lure hits a metre in front of the marker and passes close by on its path back to the boat. If you cast past the marker, you may snag it on the way back, or worse still, the marker may be between you and your fish if you hook up. Live bait hooks are short and strong and are good for this kind of fishing. Remember, the timing of your strike is essential so smaller fish don't swallow the hook. Kingfish hang around all kinds of structures, not just marker buoys. Anywhere that has lots of current and some depth immediately close by is worth trying. When you're going to release a fish, use wet hands or a wet towel and a pair of pliers to release fish that you don't want to keep. This is Scott from Digital Fish with content that catches.